цветочков, из звоночков, из переглядок и мармеладок сделаны наши девчонки. Из железа, из стремлений и самоотдачи, и сражений сделаны наши девчонки. Из упорства, из красы, которой гордится вся нация, сделаны наши девчонки. Из синяков и тумаков, из отваги сжатых кулаков, из независимости и мастерства, из страсти и сердца и достоинства, из воли крепче Кремля, из силы и огня, из свободы от чужих мнений, из свершений и достижений сделаны наши девчонки.
What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from the quartering from Flu Island, making sure I get my work in for all of you today. So I hope that you'll appreciate that by leaving a like on the video. And if you haven't yet, please do subscribe down below wherever you're watching. YouTube, Rumble, BitChute, Odyssey. I would appreciate the follow. It's not easy finding my videos, and I appreciate you all going on your way to tune in every day. Now, Matt Walsh had a banner weekend. His documentary receiving nearly 200 million views on Twitter alone. Now, those are Twitter views, so I don't know if they've actually officially shared the view count number, but I think it's safe to say it's probably at least half of that. Maybe even if it's 25% of that. You're talking about 50 million people tuning in and seeing What is a Woman? Whether you think it's the greatest thing since sliced bread or not, I do think that it raises important conversational points. It does a good job at framing some of the absurdity around parts of this movement, and is overall a net positive that it exists. There's certainly innumerable informational pieces, opinion pieces masquerading as medical fact on the other side of the conversation, and there really isn't any mainstream rebuttal to it. And so that's why What is a Woman, I think, is so popular, and why it really helped take... Daily Wire was obviously already pretty popular, but kind of took them to the next stratosphere. Along with success comes a lot of insanity. And what I thought would be a pretty good example of this is the different sets of rules that certain people get to live their lives by. In this particular case, a PhD student at Brown University has repeatedly threatened the life of Matt Walsh, and nobody seems to care about it. I think we can look back at the last several events that happened and some of people's orientations. Certainly, by the way, leave a like on this video if you'd like to know where the Tranifesto is. They're just trying to wait us out until people stop asking about it. And this is just another example of the privilege that a certain group of people get to live by. Quick reminder, I'm not going to talk about Father's Day gift boxes, just letting you know I'm doing a single one-time drop of quartering Coffee Brand Coffee merch, a one-time drop of this hat, which kind of was the most favorite design. I went through a million iterations of it. The patch is stitched onto the hat. Similar size to the one I'm wearing right now. I'm doing one print run of them. That's it. And I'm going to close the orders on next Friday. So if you want to get one or two, it's a great way to support not only the quartering as a channel, but Coffee Brand Coffee. And this hopefully appeals to people that don't even drink coffee and want to support, or tea or cocoa. So, get it as a gift or get it for yourself. Link in the description below. Now, this from Chris Burnett on his Substack, carlstack.com. The PhD student at Brown University keeps threatening to end Matt Walsh. I've written 100+ articles, he wrote. And by the way, if you're a fan of Substack, then I recommend following Carl. I have 100+ articles, not a single one is about trans people. How many genders are, LGBTQ curriculum in schools. This is not my wheelhouse. My wheelhouse is bringing up corruption in academia. The academic corruption beat has led me to exposing many scandals and nefarious plots of woke professors. The term woke is obviously reductive, but yeah, in the name of expediency, I will use it because I think it's apt. In my experience, woke academics often display higher tendencies towards corruption, malfeasance, incompetence, or stupidity when comparing their non-woke counterparts. My theory is that it's because being woke entails being an activist. This activist nature frequently leads them to employ immoral, covert, and underhanded tactics, rationalizing these actions as necessary for the, quote, greater good. They really don't care about genuine scientific inquiry. They care about their political agendas, which often manifest as data fabrication, lying, cheating, or bullying. I cover scandals in academic math. So yeah, all this woke mathematicians are putting their enemies on surveillance lists. Chad Topaz, booted from Williams College math department. All this kind of stuff. Because of these math articles, a substantial portion of Carl Stack's readership comprises of mathematics professors. They, along with others interested in the future of mathematics in academia, should be aware that Sarah Celeste Griffith, a PhD candidate in mathematics at Brown University, who is expected to enter the job market in the next 0 to 2 years. You see a Twitter and pictures here. To be clear, the purpose of writing this article is to warn my many hundreds of tenured math professor subscribers not to hire him when he is the academic job market sometime in the next 0 to 2 years. I'm not qualified to judge Sarah's research. Obviously, I do possess the experience to anticipate academic scandals and academic lawsuit risk. And so we'll go through. So what exactly makes this person such a risk? Here's some of the threats. Again, a lot of people just feel completely comfortable doing this out in the open. I think that's really weird. So to celebrate the arrival of Pride Month, Elon Musk promoted a movie, What is a Woman, on Twitter. If you click on the tweet below, you can watch the movie for free on Twitter. I don't know if that's still free now. The movie has 154 million views in just 3 days. Brings me to Matt Walsh, the creator of the most viewed documentary in history. He gets tons of threats every day, obviously from trans activists, too many to track, but surely nobody employed at a prestigious institution such as Brown University would post these threats under their real name, under their professional account, would they? Enter Sarah Celeste Griffith, who has made at least 10 threats to Matt Walsh on Twitter alone. You see, Matt Walsh is literally the P word. It's a wonder somebody doesn't do something about him. Obviously, that's an ominous threat. 2, these are all archived too, so really good job, Carl Stack, on that. Of course, I'm not suggesting that they get rid of this guy. How would you even know where to start? It's not like his home address is something you could easily find by looking. I mean, this is just unhinged, right? Fun fact, it's not too hard to find out where Matt Walsh's home is. Why should Matt Walsh have a right to personal sanctity? In a more just world, he'd be complaining about the threats sincerely. You see, this lib to TikTok would be lucky if she gets away with her life from the consequence of her actions. Goes double for Matt Walsh. This stuff makes you want to buy a pew pew. I like seeing posts about whether this type of training will actually help defend LGBT people against what is happening. They go on, my point is that if a conservative PhD student at Brown University tweeted any of these things, if he were consistently tweeting about how much he wanted to end Rachel Maddow, not only would he fail the academic job market, he would face immediate expulsion without so much as a courtesy master's degree. So then why does Brown University not hold all the students to the same standards? Should Sarah Celeste Griffith be allowed to own weapons? Do they own them? Does Rhode Island have red flag laws? I provided both Brown University and Sarah Celeste Griffith a draft of this article with more than 24 hours notice, offering them a chance to read the entire thing and point out any factual inaccuracies or provide statements to say, sorry, I did not receive a response. Now, Sarah Celeste Griffith also tweeted out the unpublished article a few minutes ago, so I went ahead and clicked publish without waiting to hear back from university officials. I mean, it's actually insane. Oh, I'm already blocked by this person. I'm shocked, I say, shocked. This type of behavior, I think, is really bizarre. That people just are allowed to do this kind of stuff in a world where, you know, if a conservative had done the same thing, they'd have their entire life ruined. I don't think that that's out of pocket to say. You know, and these are all threats that were archived, factual, you know, not out of context. And for some reason, archive.is isn't working for me right now. But I mean, the archives are there. Something with the SSL. This happens every once in a while for archive. But, you know, certainly there would be some consequences if they were Republican or conservative, don't you think? Their entire life would be ruined. Meanwhile, What Is a Woman blows past 170 million views on Twitter. 1 year after its initial release, the Daily Wire's What Is a Woman documentary soared to new heights, prompted by Twitter premiere that featured a dramatic triumph over social media censorship. Not to mention the termination of several Twitter employees. The tweet of the 90-minute film, which features Daily Wire host Matt Walsh asking tough questions underlying the gender ideology movement, has amassed more than 170 million views since being posted by the Daily Wire, making it one of the most successful documentaries of all time. For comparison, an estimated 19.3 million viewers watched the final episode of HBO's Game of Thrones, which appeared in 2019. President Joe Biden's recent State of the Union drew 27.3 million. Such milestones initially seemed impossible. Yeah, I mean, that's really what Twitter has opened up. Now, again, they are using the tweet view count. As far as I know, there's a second number buried that the Twitter user can actually see that shows how many people watched it, how long they watched it. But again, I think 25% is a very fair estimate, you know, based on how many times a tweet was viewed. So you're still talking about 30, 40, 50 million views, which is like, you know, pretty massive. Certainly, you know, there's a lot to talk about here. There's a lot going on, but it's like, even if I don't always agree with Matt, I think, you know, I think that it's important to point out the hypocrisy and how people can just so blatantly issue these, you know, make these kind of veiled and unveiled threats against somebody. But, you know, it's not an issue when they identify a certain way. It's just that true, right? And, you know, this person has 8,000 followers on Twitter and has a protected Twitter account and a website that does work, apparently, mask in the profile, and, you know, does a little blogging and things of that nature, none of which, none of this is, you know, a problem, and you're allowed to have opinions. But what I think is interesting is when one group of people can make direct threats on people, and it's just, that's just another, you know, individual person, just another trans person saying something crazy. So we'll just let it slide. And then you end up having these people walk into a religious school and do things, right? I wonder if there were any warning signs about what happened in Nashville. You know, I wonder if there's anything in the Tranifesto that might let us know something. This is a result of living life with zero consequences. And it's not right. It's not safe. And I hope that changes. Wish the best and most safety to Matt Walsh. Make sure you pick up your quartering Coffee Brand Coffee crossover hat. This is for all the people that say, I don't drink coffee, but I'd love to support you. Or maybe you do enjoy our coffee. I'm doing a one-time run of them. I'd love for you to grab one or two of them and enjoy. Protect your dome, plus look awesome. And hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon.